Deep within the depths of Chinese history, where myth intertwines with reality, an obscure creed was born, unknown to many, yet carrying within its essence the features of an entire civilization. Amid the silence of sacred mountains and the echoes of ancient emperors, the religion of Huangtiandao emerged, as though a distant resonance of the spirit of the Yellow Emperor, the legendary founder of the Chinese nation. Huangtiandao was not merely a religion, it was a reflection of a complete identity. Within its rituals lie meanings of belonging, while its intricate details are infused with symbols of nationalism and spiritual transcendence. This faith venerates Huangdi not only as a god or a ruler, but as an eternal spirit flowing through the body of the nation, one that weaves its own threads of belief and grants every symbol a meaning that transcends the material world. Within its secret temples and hidden rites, ancient Chinese history pulses with renewed life. Strength, order, and purity are exalted, and the homeland is elevated as a sacred, inviolable entity. With every candle lit in its ceremonies, time flows backward, to the moment of the mythical emperor's birth, where no distinction exists between earth and heaven, politics and sanctity, humanity and divinity. Stay with us until the end. The story has yet to be told. Your support through likes and subscriptions is what encourages us to bring you more. The religion of Huangtiandao represents one of the most distinctive spiritual phenomena to emerge from the depths of Chinese cultural heritage, where mythology intertwines with philosophy and national identity merges with spiritual faith. This religion is founded upon the veneration of the Yellow Emperor, Huangdi, who occupies a central position in Chinese tradition as a civilizational founder and as a symbol of unity and spiritual strength for the people. The very name of the religion carries profound meanings. The term Huang refers to the Yellow Emperor. Tian signifies heaven, or the supreme divine will, while Dao denotes the way, or the universal principle. Together, these elements form an integrated relationship between earth and heaven, embodied through the figure of Huangdi himself. Huangtiandao emerged in China during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a period marked by intense political and social upheaval and by the collapse of the old imperial system. The religion became associated with nationalist spiritual movements that sought to revive China's ancient glory and reaffirm national identity amid the sweeping transformations that accompanied the fall of the empire and the establishment of the republic. Among the most prominent founders and proponents of Huangtiandao were groups of spiritual leaders and popular movements that regarded the Yellow Emperor as a sacred symbol of unity and spiritual power for the Chinese nation. Its teachings emphasized morality, spiritual purification, and service to the nation. This creed was not limited to being a mere religious tradition. Rather, it constituted a comprehensive worldview that included the sanctification of the homeland and a firm attachment to historical roots. It reflected a desire to preserve Chinese identity by reviving its historical and religious symbols. At the heart of this religion, the Yellow Emperor is transformed into a sacred being who serves as a link between humanity and celestial forces, embodying cosmic order and universal harmony. The beliefs of Huangtiandao draw upon traditional philosophies such as Taoism and Confucianism, yet they are distinguished by their direct sanctification of the legendary ruler and their strong emphasis on national unity. During the 1920s and 1930s, Huangtiandao began to spread across northern China, particularly in rural areas and traditional communities that were searching for a spiritual alternative amid political chaos. Thousands joined the sect, many of whom viewed it as a path toward moral and national renewal, especially at a time when governmental authority was weak and Confucian values were in decline. Schools were established, associations were formed, and followers of the movement endeavored to promote it as a means for China's salvation, not merely on an individual level, but on a national one. However, With the rise of the communist regime in 1949, everything changed. The communist state classified this religion, along with similar movements, as counter-revolutionary superstitions. Associations were shut down, rituals were halted, and adherents were subjected to persecution and imprisonment, leading to the gradual disappearance of the sect from public life. Today, there are no precise figures regarding the number of Huangtiandao followers. The religion is considered nearly extinct in mainland China, and it is unclear whether it maintains any organized presence elsewhere. Some of its ideas may appear indirectly within modern religious movements in Taiwan or among the Chinese diaspora, but the original sect has either vanished entirely or survived only as a marginal cultural memory. The Yellow Emperor, known in Chinese culture as Huangdi, is a central figure who stands at the intersection of history and myth, and is regarded as one of the greatest symbols of ancient Chinese heritage. Although he is frequently described in numerous sources as a legendary ruler who lived thousands of years ago, his influence transcended the boundaries of historical narrative to become a religious and spiritual symbol that surpasses time and space. According to traditional accounts, Huangdi was a wise leader and ruler who succeeded in unifying the scattered tribes inhabiting ancient China and in establishing an advanced civilizational system founded upon innovation and organization. He is traditionally credited with the invention of writing, medicine, agriculture, and fundamental technologies that contributed significantly to the development of Chinese society. For this reason, the Yellow Emperor is regarded as the founding father of Chinese civilization and as a source of national and spiritual pride for his people. Over time, this legendary ruler was transformed into a sacred being venerated within various religious traditions, particularly those associated with concepts of heavenly unity and spiritual allegiance. Within traditional Chinese belief systems, Huangdi is viewed as a mediator between heaven and earth, one who determines the fate of the nation and maintains balance among cosmic forces. His image came to embody wisdom, strength, and justice, and his name became associated with peace and stability. The veneration of the Yellow Emperor is not limited to his political or historical significance. It extends deeply into the spiritual dimension that connects him to philosophical traditions such as Taoism and Confucianism. While Taoism emphasizes harmony with nature and the cosmos, the worship of Huangdi adds an additional layer of spiritual loyalty and acknowledgement of the heavenly authority that granted him the right to rule. Moreover, the figure of Huangdi has long served as a symbol of national unity and cultural strength that has bound the Chinese people together across the centuries. The rituals of Huangtiandao represent a fundamental aspect of the spiritual practices that distinguish this belief system, as they combine a religious character with a pronounced national dimension. These rituals express a profound relationship between humanity and nature, as well as between the nation and its heavenly forces. They are most often conducted in special locations, such as ancient temples and sites associated with the history of the Yellow Emperor, where a spirit of loyalty and deep attachment to national and historical symbols is clearly manifested. The rites include the offering of various sacrifices, such as food, flowers, and incense, intended to honor the Yellow Emperor, who is regarded as the intermediary between heaven and earth. These offerings are not merely formal or symbolic acts. Rather, they represent expressions of gratitude and reverence toward the cosmic forces that Huangtiandao believes govern human destiny and guide the course of life. During these ceremonies, specific performances and prayers are conducted, during which hymns and invocations are recited, calling for harmony between humanity and the universe, and for the strengthening of national unity and the spiritual power of the nation. Huangtiandao celebrations were characterized by a largely secretive nature, as participation was restricted to selected members of the religious community who had undergone prior spiritual and ethical training. This secrecy reflects the practitioner's commitment to preserving the purity and authenticity of the rituals, as well as to protecting the religion from external influence and political interference. These ceremonies were sometimes accompanied by the use of traditional symbols and elements, such as distinctive garments and ritual dances, which symbolized communication with celestial powers and the celebration of an ancient heritage. In addition to their religious character, these rituals carry clear nationalistic dimensions. They are regarded as a means of reinforcing the sense of belonging to the Chinese nation and of reviving the national spirit. During periods of crisis and challenge, such ceremonies are viewed as embodiments of cohesion and collective spirit that unite the people in the face of adversity. They are also used to commemorate the Yellow Emperor as a symbol of common origin and shared history, thereby strengthening cultural identity and reaffirming the principles upon which Chinese civilization is founded. Despite the restrictions imposed by authorities at various times on the practices of Huangtiandao, these rituals continue to be observed in secrecy in certain regions, particularly within rural communities and among the Chinese diaspora. These rites persist in conveying messages of spirituality, loyalty, and connection to the past, forming a bridge that links the present to the ancient traditions that shape the identity of the nation across the ages. In the religion of Huangtiandao, sacred books and texts play an important role in transmitting teachings and beliefs. However, they differ significantly from the conventional religious scriptures known in major world religions. Huangtiandao does not possess a single unified canon of widely circulated sacred texts. Instead, it relies on specialized and often secret writings preserved within the groups and communities that practice the faith. These texts are regarded as profound spiritual sources, the understanding of which is conveyed only to selected and committed members. These writings contain philosophical and spiritual teachings addressing concepts such as cosmic harmony, the veneration of the Yellow Emperor, and the role of humanity in maintaining balance between heaven and earth. They describe the rituals and practices that adherents are expected to observe and explain the relationships between celestial forces and human life, with particular emphasis on the national and historical unity embodied by Huangtiandao. Consequently, these texts extend beyond purely religious functions, carrying cultural and historical dimensions that reflect the deep-rooted identity of the Chinese people. The secrecy surrounding these texts has enveloped them in a considerable degree of mystery, as access is not granted to all, thereby increasing their status and sanctity within the religion. It is believed that these books are carefully safeguarded by leaders of spiritual communities and transmitted either orally or through extremely limited written copies. This practice has contributed to keeping Huangtiandao's teachings out of public view and has helped prevent misinterpretation or distortion of its doctrines. This atmosphere of secrecy is also linked to the period in which the religion emerged, a time marked by political and social turmoil in China, which compelled its followers to preserve their teachings away from governmental surveillance and external interference. As a result, the sacred books and texts came to be regarded as spiritual treasures containing secrets and lessons related to the creation of a balanced and unified world under the guiding banner of the Yellow Emperor. The religion of Huangtiandao maintains a complex and interwoven relationship with both Taoism and Confucianism, drawing upon spiritual and intellectual elements from each, while preserving distinctive characteristics of its own. This relationship historically reflects the nature of cultural and religious interaction in China, where religions and philosophies did not exist in isolation, but instead converged and overlapped, forming a rich and intricate spiritual fabric. From Taoism, Huangtiandao derives fundamental concepts related to harmony with nature and the cosmos, and the pursuit of balance among opposing forces. Both traditions share a focus on cosmic energy, vital energy, or qi, and on the regulation of its flow as a means to achieve inner peace and alignment with the surrounding world. Rituals and symbolic elements within Huangtiandao also intersect with Taoist practices, particularly in their emphasis on harmony, flexibility, and adaptive engagement with life and natural change. This overlap establishes the relationship on a solid philosophical and spiritual foundation. From the perspective of Confucianism, Huangtiandao aligns with principles emphasizing social order, respect for authority, and loyalty to the nation and historical heritage, especially through the veneration of the Yellow Emperor, who is regarded as a symbol of national unity and just governance. The teachings of Huangtiandao clearly intersect with Confucian values, particularly within political and social contexts, such as reverence for ancestors, individual commitment to social responsibilities, and the preservation of order and virtue. These elements highlight the ethical and educational dimensions of the religion. The convergence of these ideas positions Huangtiandao as a bridge between spiritual and social spheres, combining the quest for inner peace and cosmic harmony with the preservation of national heritage and social discipline. In this sense, Huangtiandao can be viewed as a religious model that reflects China's rich historical legacy and cultural diversity, fulfilling an integrative role between philosophy and worship, as well as between the individual and society. This spiritual and intellectual interaction does not imply complete fusion. Rather, it preserves Huangtiandao's distinct identity as an independent belief system with its own rituals and doctrines that set it apart from Taoism and Confucianism. Nevertheless, these shared relationships underscore the idea that a full understanding of any one of these traditions is incomplete without recognizing the reciprocal influences that have shaped China's religious and philosophical landscape across the ages. The followers of Huangtiandao practice their rituals within sacred centers and temples that served as spiritual points of connection between humanity and the celestial forces in which they believed. These temples and centers were situated in locations of historical and geographical significance, often in places believed to be sources of cosmic energy or associated with pivotal events in the formation of Chinese identity. Among the most revered and respected sites were mountains and hills linked to legends of the Yellow Emperor, as well as ancient locations believed to have once hosted both spiritual and political authority. This close association with natural landscapes reflects a profound belief in continuous interaction between earth and heaven, and between human beings and the spiritual realm. The architectural design of these temples embodied the spiritual values of the religion. Symbols of the Yellow Emperor were prominently featured, along with traditional colors such as yellow and gold, and natural elements including water and vegetation. Together, these components contributed to the creation of a serene and awe-inspiring atmosphere that deepened feelings of tranquility and spiritual connection. Within these temples, regular rituals and ceremonial celebrations were conducted, including offerings, chants, and prayers aimed at invoking blessings and protection, as well as achieving harmony between humanity and the cosmos. These temples and sacred centers were distributed across various regions of China, with some located in remote and difficult-to-access areas, a factor that further enhanced their sanctity and mystique. Additionally, small communities within the Chinese diaspora have continued to preserve these centers and renew their spiritual practices away from public attention, indicating the persistence of interest in this heritage despite numerous challenges. In conclusion, the teachings of Huangtiandao represent a unique and profound component of China's spiritual heritage, as they bring together philosophy, spirituality, and national identity within a single integrated framework. Inspired by the symbol of the Yellow Emperor and emphasizing harmony between humanity and the cosmos, this religion offers a balanced vision that honors the past while guiding the present toward a better future. It reminds us of the enduring importance of spiritual traditions in shaping both collective and individual identity. Here, we reach the end of our discussion. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. And we look forward to meeting you again in a new documentary.